This is a glass full of tap water. In it thrive thousands of microorganisms. But our lives aren't long enough to allow us to pay attention to details this small. Well, details that may not always be small. In fact, as big as they could get. Things we have never seen with our own eyes. But they keep sending us signs, awaiting their discovery. The ocean is unbelievably huge, so much that more than 80% of it remains undiscovered by us humans. Like that glass of water, the planet Earth is where we, seemingly microorganisms, thrive. The ocean has certainly fascinated billions of people, out of which thousands have lost their lives in curiosity to what Mother Nature has to offer. Stay tuned to find out about some of the most amazing discoveries the curious ones have brought us.
Ravenwood had always been a quiet place, nestled in the heart of a dense forest. Life moved slowly here, with days marked by the ringing of the church bell and nights by the howling of wolves. But everything changed when the old mansion on the hill was sold. When the Ravenwood mansion was sold and no one knew who bought it, a young woman, Sarah, was the first to notice the changes. She had always been drawn to the mansion, and she decided to uncover the secrets of the mansion. If you are enjoying this snippet of our Ravenwood Haunting ebook, you can check it out by clicking the first link in the description or the pinned comment. Use code MYSTERY01 to get a special discount.
The Bermuda Triangle is a region in the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean in which ships, planes, and people are alleged to have mysteriously vanished. Stretching between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. This area has become famous for the unexplained disappearance of aircrafts and ships. What is it about this region that has captured the imagination of so many? So the legend of the Bermuda Triangle dates back to the time of Christopher Columbus, who reported that a great flame of fire crashed into the sea one night, and that a strange light appeared in the distance a few weeks later. He also wrote about erratic compass readings, perhaps because at that time, a sliver of the Bermuda Triangle was one of the few places on Earth where true north and magnetic north lined up. Nonetheless, reports of unexplained disappearances did not really capture the public's attention until the 20th century. An especially infamous tragedy occurred in March 1918 when the USS Cyclops, a 542-foot-long Navy cargo ship with over 300 men and 10,000 tons of manganese ore on board, sank somewhere between Barbados and the Chesapeake Bay. The Cyclops never sent out an SOS distress call despite being equipped to do so, and an extensive search found no wreckage. Only God and the sea know what happened to the great ship, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson later said. In 1941, two of the Cyclops' sister ships similarly vanished without a trace along nearly the same route. Then, in December 1945, 5 Navy bombers carrying 14 men took off from a Fort Lauderdale, Florida airfield in order to conduct practice bombing runs over some nearby shoals. But with his compasses apparently malfunctioning, the leader of the mission, known as Flight 19, got severely lost. All 5 planes flew aimlessly until they ran low on fuel and were forced to ditch at sea. After a massive weeks-long search failed to turn up any evidence, the official Navy report declared that it was as if they had flown to Mars. The term Bermuda Triangle was coined in the 1950s after a series of high-profile disappearances, including the USS Cyclops in 1918, Flight 19 in 1945, and the Star Tiger in 1948. Each incident left behind a trail of unanswered questions and fueled speculation about the supernatural. Many theories have been proposed to explain these mysterious disappearances. Let's take a closer look at some of the most popular ones. One theory suggests that methane hydrates on the ocean floor could be responsible. When these hydrates release gas, they can reduce the density of water, causing ships to sink rapidly. Others believe in the presence of rogue waves, massive walls of water that can appear without warning. There's also the theory of electronic fog, a phenomenon that could disrupt instruments and navigation systems, leading to disorientation and crashes. Some people think the Bermuda Triangle is a hotbed of alien activity, with UFO sightings and abductions explaining the disappearances. Scientists have conducted extensive research to uncover the truth behind the Bermuda Triangle. While no definitive evidence supports supernatural theories, studies have shown that the region's unique environmental factors could contribute to the incidents. Researchers have found that the Bermuda Triangle is one of the most heavily traveled shipping lanes in the world, increasing the likelihood of accidents. Additionally, the area is prone to sudden storms and unpredictable weather patterns. But the theory that makes the most sense is related to human psychology. It is called the Baader-Meinhof effect, or the frequency illusion. Baader-Meinhof effect is a psychological effect. It states that when we start to notice things more, then we start finding them more often around us. For example, when you buy a new car, the model of the car that you got, after buying it, you would have noticed that over the next few days or months, whenever you were on the road, you started noticing the model of the car you bought more and more. You may feel like more people bought the model after you bought it. In reality, the frequency of the car on the road didn't change much. It was just as common after you bought it as it was before. But because you bought the car, so you started noticing it more. The same thing is said about the Bermuda Triangle. It is true that some aircrafts and ships have disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle. But if you've noticed, in many areas around the world across all oceans, there have been such disappearances of aircrafts and ships in areas other than Bermuda Triangle. An example of this is the Malaysian Airlines flight. It hadn't disappeared around Bermuda Triangle. The thing is that when people came across the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle, they started paying more attention to the disappearances and incidents there, and the incidents that happened outside of Bermuda Triangle. People didn't pay attention to them.
Journalist Larry Cushy, the author of the book The Bermuda Triangle Mystery Solved, reached this solution too. He wrote that some incidents did take place in the start, but with time, when the mystery of Bermuda Triangle gained popularity, some people started creating their stories. The National Oceanic and Administration of the U.S. state that there is no evidence that mysterious disappearances occur with any greater frequency in the Bermuda Triangle than in any other large, well-traveled area of the ocean. The United States Coast Guards have stated that they don't recognize the existence of so-called Bermuda Triangle as a hazardous area to ships or planes. And the Bermuda Triangle is often swept by hurricanes and the presence of Gulf streams. Another reason why ships sink there, if you bear this in mind, that this area sees a lot of hurricanes and the water is shallow here, then you arrive at the answer to the mystery of Bermuda Triangle. There is no supernatural force in Bermuda Triangle. It is just an highly trafficked and hurricane-prone area. The Mariana Trench is the deepest part of the ocean, located in the western Pacific Ocean. It is about 200 kilometers east of the Mariana Islands. It has a maximum depth of around 11 kilometers, and it is one of the most mysterious places on Earth. The Mariana Trench was first discovered in 1875 by the HMS Challenger expedition. The expedition was the first to conduct a comprehensive survey of the deep sea and found the Mariana Trench, along with many other important discoveries. They used a rope with weights to predict the depth. Since then, many other expeditions have been conducted to explore the trench, shedding light on its geology and the creatures that inhabit its depths. In 1950, Challenger 2 made a survey and used echo sound technique to accurately identify the depth of the trench, and it confirmed that it was 36,000 feet, or approximately 11 kilometers deep, making it deepest spot in the world. The depth of the Mariana Trench makes it one of the deadliest places on the planet. Forever covered in darkness, water temperature is below 0 degrees Celsius. What makes it near impossible for life as we know it to exist is the extreme water pressure. 8 tons per square inch increases with depth. Any air-filled crevice of the human body would collapse in the blink of an eye under this pressure. Lungs filled with air would collapse and the bones would crush. Interestingly, if you placed Mount Everest at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the peak would still be 2,133 meters below sea level. The trench was formed after the collision of 2 tectonic plates, the Pacific Plate and the Mariana Plate. One plate is forced under the other plate, with the older, denser oceanic crust sliding down into the mantle. It was for the first time on January 23, 1960, that a manned mission was sent to the unknown world at the bottom of the trench. A submersible named Trieste, piloted by oceanographer Jacques Piccard and Lieutenant John Walsh of the U.S. Navy, stirred the underwater world. Both of them witnessed life alien to the humans at the time. The biggest question they had to find an answer for was whether there was any life in extremely harsh conditions like those. After a descent of 4 hours and 47 minutes, when the submersible reached the bottom, Piccard saw something outside. He called out to Walsh, telling him that he had seen a fish. Within a few seconds after Walsh confirmed that it was indeed a flat fish, the silt below blocked their view, and they couldn't take any pictures of what they had just witnessed. For years, marine biologists rejected the claim, saying it was impossible for a fish to exist under such high pressure. But the two stood firm on their account. The question whether life existed in darkness underneath over 11,000 meters was answered later in missions that followed. In 2014, the deepest living fish, at the depth of 8,000 meters, Mariana snailfish was discovered near Guam. Now the question was, how is it possible for fish to exist in such high-pressure conditions, and how does it survive in freezing temperature without sunlight? The answer to this question is that the Mariana fishes have made a remarkable adaptation. Fish living closer to the surface of the ocean may have a swim bladder filled with air. This helps them float up or sink down in the water. The deep-sea fish have abandoned these air sacs so they don't get crushed. There are also some interesting-looking animals down in the Mariana Trench. Some of these strange organisms include anglerfish, the Dumbo octopus, the frilled shark, the goblin shark, the telescope octopus, snailfish, and even zombie worms. Most of these organisms have adapted to the harsh conditions of living with no sunlight and are capable of easily surviving the extreme water pressure. Scientists have discovered many weird and wonderful creatures in the depths, but there could still be much more undiscovered. There are many conspiracy theories surrounding the Mariana Trench. Let's talk about the most popular ones. One of the most popular conspiracy theories surrounding the Mariana Trench is that it is the location of a secret government research facility. According to this theory, the trench is the ideal place to conduct top-secret experiments, as it is far away from prying eyes and is almost impossible to access. Conspiracy theorists claim that the facility is used for a variety of purposes. including the development of advanced weapons and the study of extraterrestrial life. But the believers of this theory haven't provided any evidence, so we cannot 100% rely on this. Another popular theory is that the Mariana Trench is home to a secret alien base. Believers of this theory claim that the trench's extreme depth and isolation make it the perfect location for an extraterrestrial civilization to set up a shop. They also point to the strange creatures that inhabit the trench's depths, suggesting that they may be the result of genetic experimentation by the aliens. This theory is mostly believed by people, as there have been some crazy-looking species of ocean life. Some people hold the belief that the Mariana Trench conceals evidence of past civilizations. This theory speculates that the trench could have once been above water, allowing ancient civilizations to settle in the area. Supporters of this theory cite alleged underwater structures and artifacts that have been found in the trench, claiming that they are remnants of a lost civilization. These theories may seem fake to some people, but they have gained a significant following on the internet. Many people find the idea of a secret government facility or alien base intriguing, and the mysteries of the Mariana Trench make it the perfect location for these kinds of stories. Despite the popularity of these conspiracy theories, there is no evidence to support any of them. The Mariana Trench is a legit place, and while it is certainly mysterious and fascinating, there is no reason to believe that it is hiding any dark secrets. The creatures that inhabit the trench's depths are the result of millions of years of evolution, and there is no evidence to suggest that they are the result of genetic experimentation by aliens. But as of today, there is only less than 10% of the oceans we have explored, so be ready for anything. We all have heard of the term Atlantis, a fictional underwater city which we have seen in movies and games. It was considered as a fictional story until in 1986, a man named Kihachiro Aratake was diving off Yonaguni Island in Okinawa to check out the hammerhead sharks in the area. In the surrounding shallow water, he came across a peculiar structure that seemed out of place on the ocean floor. It resembled a pyramid, with multiple steps or layers leading to the top, with clean, symmetrical edges, angles, and even steps. The rock itself is composed of shale and sandstone and dates back 20 million years. It covers around 45,000 square meters. No one knows how this structure got here in the first place. It was dubbed the Yonaguni Monument. Researcher Masaki Kimura from the University of the Ryukyus believes that the structure is a group of monoliths built by humans. According to Kimura, it dates back 10,000 years and was once part of the lost continent of Mu. Mu was a mythical continent in the Pacific, whose story parallels the myths of Atlantis and Lemuria. Supposedly, a great cataclysm, such as an earthquake or hurricane, submerged this land beneath the sea. Its survivors scattered across the earth, founding civilizations, including those of the ancient Egyptians and Maya. Academics often discredit this theory as a straight-up fairy tale. Kimura cites the following evidence. First, Japan's volatile position in the Ring of Fire subjects it to frequent earthquakes and volcanic activity. Japan also suffers from brutal typhoons, which may drive land beneath the sea. Second, he suggests that the structure possesses possible statues that resemble animals, as well as rock carvings and holes where posts might have been. Third, he points out the structure's straight lines, sharp corners, supposed steps, avenues, canals, and other features. Some believe that the Jomon people could have built the monument. The Jomon were hunter-gatherers who occupied the Japanese archipelago up to 300 BC. The Yamato Japanese who comprise 97% of the Japanese population today, descended from them. Mainly, the structure looks, at least superficially, to have been deliberately constructed. Many also just like the romantic idea of an ancient underwater city. The other prevailing and more widely accepted theory is that the monument is simply the result of natural processes. Geologist Robert Schoch of Boston University is Kimura's main critic in this matter. Schoch believes that the monument contains numerous well-defined parallel bedding planes along which the layers easily separate. This jointing and fracturing create rectangular and other symmetrical formations. While they mimic steps or walls, this theory suggests that they are entirely natural. As for the carvings, Schoch does not buy that humans etched them with tools. Again, he says they are natural. Formations such as these are not as uncommon as you would think. Schoch further explains that such 90-degree angles occur in sandstone when erosion takes place. The area's naturally strong currents also shaped it. There's always the possibility that over thousands of years, immense tectonic activity could have fractured the sandstone into geometric patterns. During the Miocene period, tectonic activity deposited great amounts of sandstone in the area. Geologists think the monument is part of a much larger underlying rock from this event. Frequent earthquakes could have fractured the rocks into all these shapes. Two main expeditions to the site took place in 1986 and 1997. Neither has come to a definitive conclusion. However, the evidence leads to several good assumptions. First, even though the structure looks like a pyramid or a building with steps, you cannot actually go up the steps. They're too big. Second, seeing rocks as possible animal statues could just be a matter of pareidolia. This is a common phenomenon in which the eye sees faces or shapes in everyday objects, like clouds. Finally, historians have often discredited the story of the lost continent of Mu as a shoddy mistranslation of texts, with no other historical backing. Since the structure does not have any special protection from the Japanese government, divers can freely explore it and draw their own conclusions. If you have made it to the fourth mystery, then you can take a break to subscribe and turn on the bell icon. Let's unfold the fourth mystery now. During a routine treasure hunt in 2011, the Ocean X team, which uses sonar to find sunken shipwrecks, scanned an anomaly on the seabed of the Baltic Sea. A first look at the sonar data shows that there is a high probability that this is not a sunken ship from the Viking Age. A round object with a diameter of approximately 60 meters and straight edges was discovered. Some people believe that the anomaly is actually a sunken UFO. The Ocean X team returned to the site in 2012. A first dive with an ROV, a remotely operated underwater vehicle, was undertaken. This picture shows a sketch of the cross-section of the anomaly. It is about 80 to 90 meters deep and rests on a foundation. Samples of stone recovered at the site by Ocean X were given to Volker Bruchert, an associate professor of geology at Stockholm University. Bruchert's analysis of the samples indicated that most are granites, gneisses, and sandstones. Among the samples was a loose piece of basaltic, volcanic rock, typical of many on the site. The Ocean X team was able to penetrate parts of the anomaly with the sonar. Rectangle corridors can be seen on the sonar scans. In a video screenshot of the inside of the anomaly, you can see a corner in one of the corridors. Two holes at the top of the anomaly were discovered. One is about 25 to 30 centimeters, the other about 2 meters in diameter. The larger opening has a square build around it. A second sample was collected directly from the anomaly. The September 2013 report by the Geological Survey of Israel Department from the Ministry of Energy and Water Resources states that the sample from the object itself is aluminum silicate rocks with very high concentrations of iron and manganese. In one sample, the sediment had a high concentration of titanium. A 1,500-meter-long trace splitting a nearby hill terminates directly at the anomaly. It looks like a crash site. A second object is located approximately 200 meters from the anomaly. This second object also has some kind of trail. The direction is identical to the first object and almost parallel. These are both of the anomalies. As the Ocean X team approached the anomaly in 2012, they reported malfunctioning of their instruments, non-working satellite phones, and camera dropouts. From a depth of 40+ meters, the temperature of the sea is 4 degrees Celsius. According to Stefan Hogeborn, the temperature directly at the anomaly was -1 degree Celsius. He assumes that the thermometer is showing an error. Let's look at the theories surrounding this mysterious anomaly. The Baltic Sea anomaly could be a structure built 12,000 years ago when the Baltic Sea was dry. During the last ice age, the Pleistocene, from 100,000 to 12,000 years ago, the water level was at times about 120 meters lower than today. The anomaly is located at approximately 80 to 90 meters depth. Some have speculatively claimed that the Baltic Sea anomaly could be remnants of an ancient civilization, perhaps a sunken monument, a temple, or another kind of human-made structure. Given the Baltic Sea anomaly location, there has been speculation that it could be related to World War II. Perhaps a sunken German anti-submarine device, a battleship turret, a hidden Nazi weapon, the entrance to a secret bunker, or even a downed aircraft. The Baltic Sea was a significant theater of naval operations during the war, and a number of objects from this period have been found. And the last theory is, as we discussed earlier, Baltic anomaly could be a crashed UFO. Some believers point to the unusual shape, the reported electrical malfunctions near it, and the perceived lack of a satisfactory natural explanation as evidence of its extraterrestrial origin. As romantic as an extraterrestrial vehicle crash site may sound, the information we've gathered leads us to conclude that it probably isn't. A flying object has a higher probability of having a lower density than a mountain. It is unlikely that such an object would split a mountain in two. There is still no explanation about what the anomaly actually is. The Ocean X team is still doing excellent work today to get closer to the clarification of this anomaly step by step. Hopefully one day, they will find what the anomaly actually is. Imagine you're out at sea on a dark, moonless night. Suddenly, the water around your ship begins to glow, not just in patches but across vast expanses, creating an almost ethereal scene. This glow can stretch for miles, illuminating the sea with a soft, steady light that can be seen from space. This phenomenon is caused by bioluminescence, specifically from bacteria that emit light. Unlike the more common sparkling bioluminescence we see near coastlines, the Milky Sea phenomenon is continuous and covers large areas of the ocean's surface. Historically, sailors have described the Milky Sea in their logs, often in poetic and awestruck terms. One famous account comes from 1854, when the British clipper SS Lima encountered a Milky Sea in the Indian Ocean. The crew reported sailing through waters that glowed as far as the eye could see, as if the ocean itself had turned into a sea of milk. These historical descriptions were often met with skepticism because the phenomenon was so rare and extraordinary that many thought it was simply a sailor's tall tale. Our understanding of the Milky Sea has grown significantly in recent years. It wasn't until the 1980s that scientists began to seriously study the phenomenon. Satellite technology has played a crucial role in this research. In 2005, NASA's Defense Meteorological Satellite Program captured images of a massive Milky Sea off the coast of Somalia, stretching over 15,000 square kilometers, about the size of Connecticut. The light is produced by bioluminescent bacteria, often Vibrio harvei, which colonize and adhere to organic material in the water. When these bacteria are present in large numbers, they emit a steady light through a chemical reaction involving an enzyme called luciferase. The conditions required for a Milky Sea to form are still not fully understood, but it's believed that specific environmental factors like water temperature, salinity, and the presence of organic material play a role. The phenomenon is most commonly observed in the northwestern Indian Ocean and the seas around Indonesia, regions where the water is warm and nutrient-rich. One hypothesis suggests that the bacteria might be signaling to one another in a process known as quorum sensing, where the emission of light could be a form of communication or a defense mechanism. Recent research has utilized satellite imagery to identify potential Milky Sea events and direct research vessels to these locations. One such project in 2019 involved researchers using a combination of satellite data and in situ observations to study the phenomenon in real time. Interestingly, these studies have revealed that the Milky Sea glow can last for days, and sometimes even weeks, before fading away. This opens up new questions about the life cycle of the bacteria involved. Here are a few conspiracy theories that have been associated with the Milky Sea phenomenon. One of the most popular conspiracy theories is that the Milky Sea is the result of alien activity. The idea is that the massive glowing areas of the ocean are either the result of alien spacecraft hovering underwater or the aftermath of some extraterrestrial experiment. Proponents of this theory often point to the eerie, otherworldly glow and the fact that the phenomenon is so rare and poorly understood as evidence that something out of this world is happening. Another theory posits that the Milky Sea is caused by secret military experiments. Some suggest that the glowing water could be a byproduct of classified naval tests involving bioluminescent chemicals or microorganisms deliberately introduced into the ocean. Others speculate that the light could be a form of underwater detection system, designed to illuminate or track submarines. The lack of public information and the isolated locations of many Milky Sea events are often cited as proof of a cover-up. Some conspiracy theorists believe that the Milky Sea phenomenon is the result of an environmental catastrophe being covered up by governments or corporations. According to this theory, the glowing water could be the result of chemical spills or large-scale dumping of toxic waste, leading to massive bacterial blooms. This theory ties into broader concerns about ocean pollution and environmental degradation, with the Milky Sea being seen as a visible and ominous sign of larger problems being hidden from the public. A more esoteric theory links the Milky Sea to ancient civilizations, suggesting that the phenomenon is connected to lost knowledge or forgotten technologies. Some claim that the glowing waters are remnants of advanced technologies from lost civilizations like Atlantis, which allegedly had the power to manipulate natural elements, including the oceans. In conclusion, the Milky Sea phenomenon is a stunning example of the natural world's capacity to surprise and inspire us. While we've made significant strides in understanding how and why it occurs, much remains to be discovered. This rare and beautiful event reminds us of the mysteries that still lie beneath the ocean's surface, waiting to be uncovered.
In the depths of the Pacific Ocean, far beneath the waves, a mystery echoed across the waters. A sound so powerful that it was heard over 3,000 miles away. This sound, detected in 1997, would come to be known as the bloop. But what exactly was the bloop? And why did it capture the imaginations of scientists, conspiracy theorists, and curious minds across the world? The story begins with the NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. In 1997, their underwater microphones, known as hydrophones, picked up a strange, ultra-low frequency sound. It was unlike anything they had ever recorded before. The bloop was loud, incredibly loud. In fact, it was one of the loudest underwater sounds ever recorded. To put it in perspective, the sound was so strong that hydrophones positioned over 3,000 miles apart picked it up. The sound profile resembled that of marine life, leading some to speculate that it could be the call of a massive undiscovered sea creature. Imagine a creature so large that its calls could be heard across an entire ocean basin. The idea sparked excitement, fear, and a flurry of theories. Here are some of the most popular theories. The most popular conspiracy theory is that the bloop was the sound of a massive, undiscovered sea creature. Given the sound's organic-like qualities and its incredible power, some theorized that it could have been a giant creature, possibly larger than any known whale, lurking in the depths of the Pacific Ocean. Some linked the bloop to legendary sea monsters such as the Kraken, or even to fictional entities like H.P. Lovecraft's Cthulhu, which was said to dwell in the Pacific Ocean near the same coordinates where the bloop was detected. Another theory suggests that the bloop was the result of secret government experiments, possibly involving advanced underwater technology or even testing of a new type of sonar or weapon. Some theorists propose that the sound could have been a byproduct of these experiments, or that the government knows the true source of the sound and is covering it up. A more outlandish theory is that the bloop was caused by an alien presence, either a spacecraft entering or exiting the ocean or an underwater alien base. According to this theory, the sound could be the result of alien technology or communications that were accidentally intercepted by NOAA's hydrophones. Another fringe theory posits that the bloop was caused by a portal or gateway to another dimension or parallel universe. According to this theory, the sound could be the result of a temporary rift between our world and another, with the bloop being the audible manifestation of this rift. But science isn't about speculation, it's about evidence. Researchers, including those at NOAA, began a thorough investigation. They compared the bloop to other known underwater sounds, from volcanic eruptions to the songs of the largest whale. After years of analysis, the answer turned out to be less fantastical, but no less fascinating. The bloop, scientists concluded, was likely the sound of a large iceberg fracturing or scraping along the ocean floor. Icebergs can produce remarkably loud and low-frequency sounds as they crack and grind through the ocean, and this explanation fit the data perfectly. The mystery of the bloop was solved. The ocean is vast, and its depths are largely unexplored. Who knows what other sounds, what other mysteries are yet to be uncovered? If you liked the video, then like and subscribe. And if you want a part 2 of Ocean Mysteries, then suggest us mysteries that we can unfold in the next part.